Good evening. Nice to see you here. And it's always special to close the Sabbath together. We've been hearing some nice music from Darlene, and we're going to sing a couple of those songs, starting with 573, I'll Go Where You Want Me to Go. 573. As you sang those words, I'll go where you want me to go, do you really mean it? All right, let's sing number 579. We'll go because it's love that makes us happy. 579. Tis love that makes us happy, 'tis love that smooths the way. It helps us mind, it makes us kind to others every day. God is love, Let's pray. Father, thank you for the love you gave to us, and because of that, we can share it with others. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to work together with you, whether it's here or all the way around the world. We are grateful for your blessings, and we just pray that you'll be with us this evening as we spend this short time together with you and with all these people that are here. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, last fall, Bev said to me that she was taking a trip to Kenya. And I said, I'm so jealous. Not that I have been to Kenya, but that's not where I worked. But after spending 14 years there, I've left a part of my heart over there. So I'm glad that Bev and her friend Melanie can be here tonight and share with us their trip to Kenya.
We're parched already, like we were in the desert. Well, I'm so glad to see all of you here. We are going to relive our trip to Kenya, and maybe we'll go again.
Yes.
So it was quite a bit to even get there. One long flight to Amsterdam that took us over Greenland, of all places. Big in the news now. And then another long flight down to Nairobi that I was like watching the flight path. We went over the Sahara Desert, and then all of a sudden we like take off more east. And we went right around Sudan airspace. I guess they try to avoid that. Then, if you can see that red line, that is the road we took about 5.5 hours drive from Nairobi to the camp where we stayed. That's called Mara West, and it's in the Mara Triangle. Now, I don't know, a good part of the road was paved, but then the last, hour and a half? 2 hours. Felt like all 5 hours.
Rough.
Very, very rough dirt road. And a lot of time they seem to drive like in the ditch rather than on the road. I don't know what's with that. And the highway driving is insane. They drive on the wrong side of the road. And when we want to pass traffic, we pull out only when we see it safe to complete the pass and get back into our lane. No, they'll pull out as soon as like it's just open beside them, and then the oncoming traffic just knows that they have to put the brakes on to let you back in. So it's like playing chicken. This is just going, whoop, I knew that was going to happen. A little video to show you going through Nairobi. It's a typical third world big city with shanty towns and big apartment buildings.
Okay, so what you're looking at is the largest slum in Africa. And it is, I was thinking it was just outside of Nairobi, but it's pretty much in Nairobi.
In it.
There's over 1 million people at any given time that live here. It's called Kibera, Kibera slum, if you wanted to read more about it. And that's exactly what it looks like when you drive by. You just can't even tell what you're looking at. And it's described as a vast informal settlement, dense populations, no clean water. Can you imagine? No sanitation or electricity, high unemployment, crime, and obviously crime and disease. There are lots of relief agencies that do go into Kibera to help them obtain clean water and different things. But it's quite astonishing to see something like that near a big modern city.
Like we literally were right beside it on the highway.
Yeah. And I think, there's probably many, many reasons for the poverty in Kenya, but one of the reasons that I know for sure is the corruption there is out of control. 99.9% of the wealth in Kenya is owned by 0.01% of the population. And it's been like that forever, probably.
Yeah.
And why that is, I don't really know. I guess seeing that, for me, kind of put the homeless situation here in Kelowna in perspective. And also how much the government of Canada does for its citizens. Sometimes we think it's maybe too much, but in this case, in Kenya, it's just so sad. They literally have nothing, most people, the majority of people.
Going out of the city, then we started, because it's at a higher elevation, we go down, about 800 meters to the Great Rift Valley, which goes up sort of the whole eastern side of Africa. And we stopped at a lookout to get a view of the valley and use the facilities that had some interesting directions. And the three main foods in their diet are meat and corn and kale. Not like our kale, but greens anyway. And so we would drive by these vast sheets of corn kernels drying in the sun that they then grind up and make this kind of pasty dumpling kind of something.
Yeah.
The animals that they eat the most are sheep and goats. And you'll see them herding them on the sides of the roads, like whether it's in the city or out in the country. Animals being herded around to find fresh pasture land. And they don't eat a lot of meat because to them, their sheep and goats are like their savings account or their checking account. That's their money. And cows are like their retirement savings. So cows don't get consumed until absolutely necessary.
Except for the blood.
Yeah, we'll tell you about that later. And the roadside food stands and a lumber yard, if you can call that lumber, down in the valley. We saw a cool,
What do they call that?
a little dust storm. And housing of various types, there from the mud huts, which we'll show you later, to some that are made with cinder blocks, some just slapped together with who knows what, but very primitive living. And then we're into the high plains of the Mara with those open grasslands, sparse trees. Some people avoid this whole long drive and take a helicopter or an airplane, which not a bad idea. We cross the Mara River, which here is a pretty good flow. Its peak flow is in April and May, and after the long rain period. But by January, it's just like barely a trickle. So in November, it was already going down, but still pretty good. And we finally arrive at Mara West, which is one of the vast conservancies that encircle the Masai Mara Park. And a lot of these conservancies are just joining together to try to protect more land, more animals. And here is the crew of us.
Yeah, this is the 7 that was in our group this time. From left to right, I guess it would be Dan, who's a good friend of my daughter April and Brian. That's myself in pink, April, Brian, Bev, and then the 2 little boys, Salish and Shepherd. April, just to give you a little backstory, April and Brian met at Union College, now known as Union Adventist University. They were there together as students taking the International Rescue and Relief Program. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's a bachelor's program that I think only Union offers. It's for the adventurous types. And they met there and ended up, becoming married and moving to Oregon is where they live. April started and Brian started this nonprofit organization called Scenic Northwest Surgical Outreach just a couple years ago. They want to grow it, obviously, so if anybody's interested, you can go on their website, and any information, any questions you might have would be on there. They're also happy for you to call them and ask them questions. They're going to be going to Guatemala in March. They have been there once, and then they've been to Kenya. I think this was the third time or second time, but that's their plan. March and November, Guatemala, Kenya, and April does surgeries for the people, and it's in coordination with other groups that are on the ground. I'm going to talk about, yeah.
So the owner of Mara West Camp is Andy Aho. His father was a missionary in Tanzania. Andy was raised in Africa and then has become a businessman and created this camp. And this is his second wife, a second marriage to Fran. And Fran is friends with April.
Yeah, she was actually the school nurse. The last semester of that IRR program I mentioned, they go to a third world country, the class. And the year April and Brian were in the course, they went to Honduras. And Frances went as the school nurse, I guess. And so they've been friends since 2008. And so there's that connection. Real quickly, I wanted to mention April's grandfather is Louis Shipowick, and Brian's grandfather is Don Kirkman, and they were both very, very involved with ADRA for many years and worked together, doing lots of mission work together. April's other grandfather, my dad, John Fowler, also worked in Africa for a while in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, ministerial secretary. So these kids have it in their blood, I think, to be missionaries or to do mission trips.
So Fran is a nurse practitioner and runs the clinic that we operated out of. And the Ahos have started an NGO called African Mission Services, AMS, which has been around for a number of years and serves the local Maasai people. It's primarily for maternity care, but they will help people in any way they
Do you
can.
remember how many babies they deliver every day?
On average, 2 a day. A lot of babies. On the camp, this is the home of Andy and Fran. And Andy's son from his first wife, Dustin, has now taken over basically running the camp and the nonprofit because his dad is getting older. And his wife, Lindsay, is a physical therapist, I believe. The two of them met at Loma Linda. And they live on the camp as well with their 2 young children. So those 4 young kids live there basically year-round. Each family has their own teacher that they have hired because they have different teaching styles. One is Montessori and one is something. Anyway, so 1 teacher, 2 kids. And that's their home. The first building we came to when we got in the camp was the main dining hall. We walked through this lovely natural garden, and
That's not a very good picture. The dining hall is really nice. It's big, and couches and games, and of course tables, and that's where we took all our meals. And this was our lovely staff here.
some great chefs. They cook, of course, they can cook local cuisine, but they do international cuisine. We had very good food. All the pastries and breads and everything was homemade. There's a greenhouse somewhere on the site, so they grow their own vegetables, because I was like, where do you get the broccoli and the cauliflower and everything? And they grow it there. And then these are the cottages that we stayed in, which are kind of in a horseshoe, and then their 2 homes are on either end of the horseshoe. So each cottage has 2 rooms, 2 beds in each room, and in the middle is the bathroom, which has a lovely shower and sink and toilet.
And there are 12 cottages. The day we left the camp, there was a group of 40 from
40.
an Adventist group from Ohio that was arriving, so they can house quite a few, they have groups there pretty much all
Yeah.
the time, doing volunteer work, I think.
Yeah, so sleeping 48 in the cottages, and then they have some other chalets that I'll show you in a minute that are a little more upscale. Here's sort of the center part, and the zebras were there all the time. Sad to say, we just got used to like opening the door and like, oh, hi, zebra. Like,
They seem friendly, but we were told right away, do not try to get too close
No.
to the zebras. They're mean. They will kick.
I don't
bite?
know.
I don't know.
If
Anyway,
you try to
they'll hurt you.
approach them, they move away. They're not cuddly.
Yeah, they're not aggressive.
A beautiful pool. There's a weight room there, or an exercise room. They've got some areas for covered eating and an outdoor kitchen. It's lovely. And this is another dining room where they do plated service. The other one is buffet style, and this is for the higher end paying clientele, which was not us. They had business office and gift shop. They had a spa. Wonderful massage therapist. I think we all took advantage of it because it's not as expensive there as here. And after the work we were doing, it felt really good.
Now, what was the Canadian dollar, or did you have a slide about that? The value of the Kenyan shilling is so inflated or deflated. I don't know. I know we use U.S. dollars mostly, but one U.S. dollar is the equivalent of 129 Kenyan shillings. That's the ratio. So it's pretty bad.
So this is not the best view of one of their chalets. It's part canvas and part timber. So the window is actually a clear plastic that a shade can be rolled down. It's very luxurious inside. Some of them have like outdoor showers, and the awesome thing is it is right on the edge of this escarpment. The camp is on the edge of this drop-off that goes right down to the Mara. And so you can sit on your little deck and look out and watch the animals down below. There's some elephants down there. And the camp has its own private road from the park up to their camp, because Andy Aho also has a road building business. So many years ago, this road was built, and I think he's only one of 2 camps on that escarpment that have their own road. And there's a beautiful little spot they've designated as Sunrise Point, where you have to linger and enjoy the sun coming up over the Mara. And I also enjoyed watching the sun come up. This is from my room window. It's just beautiful. So, aside from the clinic, the Africa Mission Services is highly involved with 2 schools, a primary school and a secondary school. It's a government-run school, but the government does not fund it very much. So to make it what it is, charities pitch in. So there's like almost 600 kids. Now, unfortunately, school was out. I think that's their summer vacation time when we were there. So we didn't see the vast numbers of kids running around, but the rooms are pretty basic. So they have a very interesting directive from the government. By grade 9, they have to choose their career path. The thing is, most of these careers are unattainable, or they aren't going to actually, give you a job in Kenya. Well, I can't read from here. A nuclear physicist. Yeah. A choreographer. A professional athlete. Most of them are just useless. So they are steering the kids to go into the STEM pathway, to the technical and career, the pink and the brown by the 60%, so that they can teach them to have like hands-on jobs that are actually make them hireable. And on the right-hand side, this is the budget that the government has for the school. Now, 1,000 shillings, Kenyan shillings, equals about 12 Canadian dollars. So, number 2, down at the bottom there, renovation of classroom, building of toilets, repairs, maintenance, improvement, 11,000 shillings. Not very much. That's peanuts. So that's why the charities are pitching in to help. This is the principal of the elementary school, a fine, dignified man, and that is his house on the outside.
He invited us to look in his house, and I started bawling when I looked in there and saw where he lives, this elegant, well-spoken, highly educated, beautiful man, and I saw how he lives. I just could not get over it.
Those are the 2 rooms.
It was just something else.
They are in the process of building new homes for the teachers. The other is the secondary school, which is for girls only. The elementary is for boys and girls, but the secondary school is only for girls. And it is, actually both schools, there's another charity called Kensington Cares, which helps to fund them. Kensington Tours is a high-end tour company, and this is their charitable arm. Yeah, it's a Canadian company, actually, out of Toronto, Kensington Tours. And then they partner with Africa Mission Services, and that's what keeps these places going. Like, tell them about when the principals talk to us.
You mean the lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were standing in the front here. Is there a picture of her? This lady here, Madam Teresa. And she was talking, we were standing here, and some people on the stairs, and she made everybody cry, basically. She was just talking about how grateful her and all the kids are for everything the Ahos do for them, and, everybody. And she was just the sweetest thing, just talking, just right from her heart about how grateful, how deeply grateful they are.
And it was making Dustin
Yeah.
get teary. Yeah.
Dustin was sitting on the stairs here, and I glanced at him a couple times, and he was trying to keep from crying. And it's just, there's so much need here and so much love at the same time. And it just kept hitting me in the face how God wants his children to be his hands and feet in the world, wherever, it's needed. And I had never been on a mission trip before, so this was really special for me.
And that's her office. There are, I was going to mention, in the elementary, from K to 9, they have 18 teachers. This is I'm not sure if they eat there or if it's just their large meeting hall. And this was the last day of government exams for the senior girls. And they had just finished. And those exams are a big deal.
Yeah, it was explained to us that they all have to get A's or B's to even be considered for university. It's very, very competitive for the girls and very high stress, the testing. And if the girls don't get accepted into university, they go back to their villages and probably get married right away and start having lots and lots and lots of children. And this is really the only route for them to not have that life. And Sue, one of the staff at Mara West that was with us that day, told me that one of her good friends committed suicide, and it's very common if the girls don't make the cut. So we can't even conceive of that level of, do or die kind of situation.
And this school does have a very good record of the highest number of girls passing those exams. So there's I don't know if they've got a waiting list, but there's a lot of girls that want to go there. And when they finished their little welcome and stuff, they did a they came around, and then they got us to join in with them.
Yeah, they told us that the girls they wanted to get to know us, even though we don't know the language. So they came and just grabbed all of us by the hand. And my girl was Lucy, and this is Lucy. And we basically danced outside and went outside and then tried to communicate a little bit. And I was so moved by her very proud, fierce spirit. Like, I hope she gets into university. I can see her being anything really that she wants to be.
They're very interested in anybody that comes. They just love to chatter and ask questions, and they're really nice girls. Yeah. So water is a huge problem in these countries. They typically have to walk hours to find a water source and then carry this muddy water back on their heads or backs. And they can spend hours a day just fetching water. So this is a big project that Dustin has done for them. This is only 4 of 10 water tanks that he's put on the campus, which has changed their lives. Like, they can have showers and cooking water, and it's just all there. They're extremely grateful. This, for 200 girls, was the old kitchen. And that's the stove inside. So they have built a new kitchen, and that's inside. They've got 2 stoves. They've got running water inside. It's not completed yet, but a massive upgrade. And then this is the clinic, African Mission Services Health Clinic, that, like I said, is primarily for women and babies. The population, about 7,500 in the area, and like, everybody has to walk there. These local people don't have cars, so...
I saw a lot of little motorbikes.
Yeah.
What, are those like little scooters or something?
Yeah, little mopeds. And the upper part in the middle, they've built sort of a resident area. So at the present time, they've got 4 student missionaries that are with them. And there was another room that was available. There's a big sort of classroom meeting area. We had our lunches on the balcony up above. It's a great facility that has This building was completed about a year and a half ago. These are the student missionaries that were fun kids. 2 of them worked in the clinic with April and myself, and Mel, like doing the surgeries. The other 2 were helping with what they call community improvement, which I'll show you in a minute.
And they're all students at Walla Walla.
Walla Walla.
Which is in Walla Walla, Washington.
And they are there for 9 months
Yeah,
on the program. So before that clinic, there was this building, which currently has their dental clinic and some storage area, and I'm not sure what else. But the dental clinic, not too modern looking, and it had
Oh,
the
my favorite
autoclave.
room. That little thing there in the back under the window is a autoclave. And April did surgeries 3 days, pretty long days. She had triaged all these people beforehand to make sure they were. It was all dermatology, like you'll see a picture of some of the lipomas that she removed. But I spent a lot of time going back and forth with bundled up washed instruments, and then autoclaving them, and then taking them back, and then that was kind of my job.
How many could you do at one time?
I could cram 3 bundles
3.
in there.
Yeah, 3 little trays.
Yeah, they need a new one.
Yeah, something bigger. This is the dentist on the left, Dr. Emmanuel,
And we were just going to say that's a terrible picture of him.
yeah, of both of them, and his assistant Willie. These guys were like dressed to the nines, usually like suits. They looked very sharp, but this must have been at the end of a long day, looking a little rough around the edges. And before that building, this is the original building, which is undergoing a huge remodeling so that they can have an emergency room, an eye clinic, and a 3-chair dental clinic.
And I didn't catch this until we were going over stuff the other day, that these services that are offered to the mostly Maasai are not free. They pay a little bit for them on purpose.
As best they can, yeah.
And they want them to contribute to their care. And it's not very much, but they have to save up sometimes to get certain things done, and they feel like that's good for them to contribute to their care.
Yeah, they'll invest it in their health.
Yeah.
So, as I said, people walk great distances. So for them to be available at 8 o'clock in the morning, a lot of them would walk to the clinic the night before or the day before and stay overnight. They've actually got some rooms where they can put them up. So there they are outside the clinic, ready for us on day 1. And we sorted through our supplies. Some things had been left from when April was there in February. And I had brought a whole bunch of supplies from our hospital. It will collect outdated things, supplies that just aren't wanted in whatever area of the hospital, and our receiving area at Kelowna General gets it all together. And I don't know if anybody knows about the Gleaners, an organization down in Oliver that sends things to third world countries. Their thing is mostly to make dried soup mix. But since they're sending things, they also gather medical supplies and fill their containers. So I was so lucky because the day I went to find, I said, do you have stuff that, I can go through, the goods for third world country? He goes, yes. He goes, come now, because this afternoon, the Gleaners are coming to pick up. So I was able to just dig through everything, find what would be useful for us, and take what I wanted. And then April did the same thing at her hospital in Portland, and we just cobbled together whatever we can. And of course, things like local freezing she has to purchase. And then this is our procedure room. The equipment is not the newest and greatest, just getting a tray ready. That's the student missionaries, McKenna and Ethan, helping me. And there's Mel doing the skin prep on a patient. A lot of the lumps and bumps were lipomas around the hat line. That just tends to be a common place where they occur. And out of the 30 surgeries, 27 were lipomas, 2 were cysts, which were on the wrist, and 1 was neither. This was the largest of our lipoma removals. Imagine carrying that around. As a huge difference for him. And we had to get Ethan's hands involved there too, because it was such a big incision. And
You can see Brady's face there.
Brady came
Brady's
to have a
face.
look, and he's like, oh.
He was not pre-med.
And this poor gentleman was the one that was neither. You could tell once she had opened things up, the texture and color of things was different, and it ended up being a cancerous tumor. She removed what she could, but you couldn't get everything. You don't know how far it goes.
And in that case, he needed to go to Nairobi to a hospital, and they told us he'll never do that. He doesn't have the way to get there, the money. He'll just, deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, grow back. Some of them were really tiny little incisions, and a happy patient. Sometimes we sat, sometimes we stood. It was not the most comfortable. It's hard on your back, but like I say, you make do with what you've got. And there's McKenna also giving a hand. There were a few cases where there was like a bleeder, like a vein or an artery that wouldn't get cauterized, so she had to tie things off, and it required a little extra hands.
Oh, this was my favorite part of my day, that day. Lots of beautiful babies there, just everywhere you look. There's children and babies running around, and they're just so gorgeous. And when we were in the procedure room, this mom walked in holding that little guy, and she was lost, or maybe not all there, I don't know, but she sat down and just was looking around, and I said, "Can I hold your baby?" And so she handed him over. As you can see, he's got lots of blankets and clothes on, and it was hot there. And this was every child, every baby was bundled up like that, and a lot of the adults too would have like big coats on and stuff, and we were kind of
Layers.
curious, why is that? And then we found out that they believe that if too much air touches your skin, you can get sick, or something to that effect. So they wear lots of coats and clothes, especially the babies.
So these were 2 of the newest mamas. On the left is Elizabeth. She's 19 years old, and with her baby Mary. And then there's Jane on the right with twin girls, Joy and Precious. So here's where you can see 1,000 shillings equals about $12 Canadian. So, a visit that gets you lab work and ultrasound, checking over is 24 Canadian dollars, which to us is nothing, but to them it could be a lot. And they won't refuse care. If they need help, they will give them help. So the guys, the men worked in their community improvement, which at this time, they were building 100 desks for the high school, I think it was, one of the schools. And they had built the boxes, but they needed to be finished varnished. So they were sanding them, but they realized before they could even start sanding, none of the screws had been countersunk. So there were all these screw heads sticking up. They had to redo all of the screws, Then they could take the sanders to them. And you can see behind the tree all of the desktops out there. And under the tree is the circle of women and their blankets spread out with their craft things for sale. They would have, beaded stuff and woven things and blankets, and they do all the beading themselves. It's not something that they buy from China. And this is how they support themselves. Like, they're very industrious. They don't beg. They don't ask for things. They will make things and then sell them.
This was on the Tuesday. We were at the clinic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So Tuesday, on our way back to the camp, after we were finished with the clinic, we pulled in here to the Tuesday market at one of the villages between the camp and the clinic. And this is what it looks like. And they had lots of things for sale, just piles of stuff, anything you can imagine. A lot of clothes that they get from...
Which are the clothes that you donate
yeah.
to charity, and they can't sell, so they get bundled up and sent over there.
Yeah.
And then they sell them to the people. But there's like trash everywhere.
Yeah, that was something that bothered Bev and I, because we're kind of neat type people. But everywhere is trash, and we couldn't understand why there's trash everywhere on the ground. And it's just, there's no services. So I don't know if they sometimes will do a burn or something, but it was just...
It was bad.
Yeah, bad.
And like she said, you can buy anything. So this little guy in the green, he had on the bottle on our left is termite killer. And then he's got lollipops down in this bowl. And all those colored vials of murky liquid are like herbal remedies that they've put in old medicine vials. It was kind of scary. And the kids come out everywhere you are. When you're driving along the road, they run along the side and they're waving and they want you to throw candy to them. But the kids just love the visitors, and April had a moment with them.
20 at first.
I don't know the rest of it.
The handshake.
And speaking of kids, this is at the camp. So Dustin and his dad have 2 kids each. April had 2. And there were 2 families that were college, university chums of Dustin's from Loma Linda days. And they were there just vacationing, visiting. And one of them had 2 kids and the other one had 3 kids. So there were 11 kids between the ages of 3 and 11. And
They got that middle table, the dominant table.
yeah, they just commandeered the main table in the dining room. Every meal they were there. And they got along so well. Like, didn't see any fights or anything. They had the best time. Can you imagine going on vacation and having like 10 of your buddies with you? It's just amazing. So one of the families has a local connection. I heard, somebody's here and she's from Canada, or she's Canadian. So of course I had to talk to her. Her name is Micah. They are from Ohio. Her father would be aunt. Her father is Kurt Sauer. Kurt's sister is Sonia Sauer. And I went to school with them in Williams Lake. Her mother, unfortunately I didn't write it down. I don't remember her mother's name. But her mother is the daughter of Linda Berge, who I'm pretty sure she said is sister to Hazel Self. There's a direct relationship to Selfs. So she couldn't believe it, I couldn't believe it. Here we are in Africa, and we run into a fellow Canadian. On the Wednesday, we were all finished our clinic work, and it happened to be 2 boys had birthdays. So there was a grand celebration. They had a big pool party, playing water polo, and the student missionaries came. All the dads were out there. I think they had more fun than the kids. They were like crazy players. And then we had supper out by the pool. And then the staff did a Maasai Congo using pots and pans from the kitchen. Yes. Somebody didn't want to have their face seen.
One of the birthday boys was my grandson, Salish. He turned 11 there. He got to go on a sunrise hot air balloon ride with us on his birthday.
That's next. So Mel and I wanted to see the local Maasai village, which is called a boma. This is off-season, so we ended up being the only visitors to this boma.
So we get there, and they handed us these
Yeah.
talking sticks. And we're like, oh, thank you, because it was $20 to tour the boma.
Yeah, $20.
20 US.
And
So
we
we
thought-
thought they were giving these to us. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this must be included in the admission.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
But yeah, they wanted money for these too, so we bought them. But these were our hosts. John, the one on the left, was the one that communicated with us. He knew English quite well. And then the two, Joshua and James, are probably teenagers. They
Yeah.
were pretty young.
Younger fellows.
And they took us into their village.
So he explained that these red blankets, a lot of them wear them tied around their shoulders. And he said the colors are significant. The dark red symbolizes the meat. The bright red symbolizes blood. And the white thread on the edge of the hem symbolizes milk. And I'll tell you how that all comes together in a second. So this is the entrance. I didn't take a picture of the whole boma outfit, but it's a circle made of trees and twigs and just whatever natural material they can to make a kind of a wall to keep the wild animals out, although it's not foolproof because they had recently had an elephant crash through and had, broken tree things and whatever. But this is the entrance, which has a very low arch, and it's that way for a reason.
Yeah. What was the reason? Was it?
Because you had to duck down, and in bowing down, it showed your deference to the elders.
Oh, and on that note, many of you may know about the Maasai tribe, the Maasai warriors. They're I kind of knew a little bit because I'd seen something, but I will share a little bit with you more. And we got firsthand knowledge from James. Was that the main guy? So they are, and I'm sure Twyla knows a lot more than I do, 300-year culture that they are very proud of. They're very resistant to progress. Other than everyone has a cell phone, which we found really hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't want to be modernized. They like the way they live. They're very proud of their history and their culture. As Bev mentioned, their wealth is demonstrated by the number of cattle and the number of children that they have. And James explained to us there's 3 stages in a Maasai man's life: boyhood, and then become a warrior. The next stage is warrior, and to become a warrior, they have to remove these 2 bottom teeth with a knife. Right here, these 2, I have to dig them out with a knife, and you know why that is.
Yeah, I don't know why it stayed a thing, but hundreds of years ago, tetanus had gone through and given them lockjaw, and it was threatening to, make their tribe extinct. And so since they couldn't open their mouths to get food in, they dug out a couple of teeth. And they stuck with it. Like,
Yeah, it's a thing that almost every male we saw, even staff
Yeah.
at Mara West, were missing some of those teeth. So they have to do that, and then they have to go into the bush or jungle for 6 months by themselves and survive. And James told us they used to have to kill a lion, but then he said that we don't do that anymore because then you people wouldn't come here.
Yeah.
That's what he told us.
they realized the value of having the animals is greater for the tourists.
Yeah, they took us around and showed us inside. There it is. These homes are built out of
Mud?
mud and cow dung.
Yep. And notice there is not a stitch of trash. And we asked him, like, how come it's so clean? What do you do? And he goes, well, we collect it, we take it out of the camp, we burn it, and bury the remains. I'm like, well, why can't everybody do that? Anyway, he said he was taking it into his parents' house. I'm not sure if that was true, but there's their little stove. And this on the left, this big long gourd, is what they use to collect the blood from a cow. A couple of times a week, they will cut a hole in their jugular vein and drain off 2 liters of blood, mix it with some milk, and they drink it. And he says it makes them feel very alive.
He said it makes them strong like a lion. Yeah. But they don't kill the cows. They just
They just drain the blood. So this is the cattle enclosure within the boma. So at night, they bring their cows, sheep, and goats inside that. It's just so clean, I couldn't believe it. And then, our driver told us, he goes, I might have to come in with you because they do this thing where they jump, and the highest jumper takes the woman for a wife. He goes, so I might have to come in and jump really high so they won't take you.
And then he didn't come in with us.
And then he didn't come in.
So watch this.
This is us making a fool of ourselves.
Woo! Yeah. Good one.
You could turn the volume up a bit.
Wow. Your turn, Bev. You're like, woo. Yeah, girl. Woo. Okay. Take it. Okay, it's recording. It's recording. Okay.
Oh, go Mel.
Very embarrassing.
So this is his family, his wife and 4 children. And just outside the boma, they have this huge area with tables where the people sell all their wares. But there were very few tables with stuff because we were the only people there. But still, they escorted us around. And anyway, we bought stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, we were in Africa. What about the animals? So this picture is the road, the camp driveway, and the giraffe were like right there beside us. And the zebras there was a mama and a baby, and they would take these dust baths. They just like drop and roll around in the dust and take off again. These are all within the camp. And Mel and I were going to that sunrise point area one day, and all of a sudden, whoa, we come around the corner, and there are these giraffes coming up. And there's the mama and the baby giraffe.
I would just say seeing a picture of them and being in the presence of them is like day and night. There's literally no comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are impala. A herd of them came through the camp. Banded mongoose. There was a whole family of them scurrying around one dusk. There's a resident warthog. And I learned that you can't leave your cottage window, there's no screens in them, you can't leave your cottage window or door open at night with lights on in the room. You know why? You get all kinds of interesting bugs. So this is an African mantis. On the left is an eland, which is the largest of the antelope family. And it was hanging around with a couple of zebras. And, a lot of cool birds. And now not all of these are great pictures, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to record it. So the upper left is a dusky turtle dove that was in a big tree right next to our cottage, and it was like cooing away all the time. It made a lot of noise. The upper right is a bare-faced go-away bird. The bottom left is a speckled mouse bird, and there would be flocks of them on the ground, and they take dust baths, and they'd be all fluffing in the dirt. And the bottom right is a African pied wagtail, and it was hanging around the pool when I said it had an interesting cry. Then the upper left is a common bulbul. The upper right is a spot-flanked barbet. The bottom left a southern fiscal, and the bottom right is the village weaver. Now this is the weaver bird tree on the left, and I could see it because it wasn't near our cabins, but it was on the other side of the campus. I could see these things. I'm like, what are they? Are they seed pods? Are they flowers? What is it? And there was also a lot of bird chatter going on there. So I went and had a look, and this is what I found. They are nests, and
Well, this is really interesting. God has a sense of humor. These are nests, and the male builds the nest. Female comes to inspect it. If she doesn't like it, she'll cut it down. She'll snip the little string and it'll fall.
you can see some of them on the ground underneath the tree. Yeah, and then you've got to try all over again.
And so, yeah, the males have to get it right, or they're not gonna come home tonight.
And then we had a safari day. So outside of the camp, there were 4 of us that went on a balloon safari. I have a cousin who's been to Kenya 8 times, and she goes, "You've got to take a balloon safari. You've got to take a balloon safari." So we took one. You have to get up early in the morning, go down the bumpy road, get at this site, and they get everything prepped before sunrise, because the idea is that you go up and see the sunrise. And there we are floating over the Mara River as the sun is coming up, and the morning mist is clearing. On the left, in the middle of the upper ridge, that's the camp. So you can see they're like right on the edge of that escarpment. And, okay, hot air balloons are quiet until the gas comes on. And he brought us down close to the elephants. And when we landed, which was surprisingly better than we were anticipating, with their pre-flight safety instruction, they tell you like, oh, you might be dragged along the ground and it might catch your hair or your clothes.
The pilot scared us to death.
Oh, yeah. But we landed upright, just a little movement, and then it was good. And then they had a lovely brunch served there on the Mara. And then, and I finally got a picture of the pilot. I tried to get one at the beginning of his safety briefing with the balloon in the background. I thought that'd be good, the pilot and his craft behind him. So I take out my camera, and he goes, "Put your phones away. This is serious. You need to pay attention." Like, okay. He hadn't even started the briefing yet. So after we had our meal, I said, "Can I get a picture of you now?" And he goes, "Oh, you didn't get one before?" I go, "No, you shut me down." So anyway, he obliged, and we got a picture with the basket in the background all loaded up. And we met up with, so there was just the four of us. Oh, I was going to say Mel, myself, April, and Salish, who had had the birthday he was gifted.
But the hot air balloon held 16 people, 4 in each basket, so it was a big basket. Yeah.
And then the rest of our crew joined us for the rest of the day on a Jeep safari, which we promptly got a flat tire. Dan had to give him a hand figuring out how to get this thing changed. And then they wanted to repair the good tire because the spare tire wasn't, as durable. So in the midst of the Mara is this outpost where it's a Serena Lodge. It's a very swanky resort. And we hung around there while the tire was getting repaired. Their cheapest room is $400 US a night. And then you have to pay $200 for every 24 hours for a park fee. So it's $600 basically a day. And that's the cheapest room. They had some really nice ones. Anyway, we saw on the left is the male common agama, and the colorful guy is the Mwanza flat-headed rock agama. And then these guys, who knows what they are? Anybody? They're the topi. And the driver loved to say, "Oh, there they are, wearing their blue jeans and socks," because they have these sort of blue haunches and then light-colored socks. And the lookout male always stands up on a termite mound while the rest of the family or tribe is eating. And then the impala. It's a beautiful picture that Brian took. The really good pictures are the pictures that Brian took. And the dik-dik, they are the tiniest of the antelope family. The Thompson's gazelle. And wildebeest. I think this is the only picture any of us got. It's not the greatest, but these are the ones that have the huge mass migrations in April, May. Them and the zebras are the ones that have the big migrating numbers that people come at that time of year, pay big bucks to see the migrations. The Cape buffalo with the little oxpecker birds. And of course the elephants, which are a matriarchal animal. Is this the video? Yeah.
That means the women are in charge.
And these were like right beside the road. That's the ditch right there.
Our driver, who does safaris all the time, knew so much about the animals, and they even have names for some of them, the familiar ones. And so he was a real help to have doing the driving.
Yeah. And then we caught like barely a glimpse of this little lion cub in the grass. Like I stood up on the far side windowsill of the Jeep to get up to like kind of look down into the grass. And then the mama was a little bit away, not together. She thought she had baby well hidden. And when I was standing here, he was like, no, 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 you can't do that. You can't go on the roof. Well, I wasn't on the roof. These are the rules of the Mara, and it wasn't there. And then we found two brothers, two big old lions that were pretty lazy.
When the driver spotted them, back off the road, he just immediately pulled off the road and drove right up to them. And I was like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
What exactly? And that's what they do, though. They go
Yeah.
really close to these guys and rev their engines to get them to sort of rouse, because they sleep all day, because they have to protect the females. They have to protect the cubs at night while the females hunt. That's what he told us. So they sleep pretty much all day. But he said they're not afraid of us at all, so don't worry.
So the rules, I didn't give you time to read, said that you have to be 20 meters away from wildlife. So that Jeep in the distance was the closest at that time. When it left, we circled around, and we were even closer. We were not 20 meters away at all. It made Mel a little nervous. She kept
I was terrified, literally.
trying to climb out the other side.
It's a lion right there looking at you. Like, what if they decide to jump into the Jeep? You could do nothing about it.
He didn't care. Not at all. And then we were treated to find a leopard. They say it's very difficult to find, to be able to see a leopard. But it had made a kill, which it's dragged up into the tree. They can drag 3 times their own body weight to keep it out of scavengers' way. And it was hiding in the underbrush underneath, which we could barely see it, but then it eventually came out and we got to get a good look at it. And you can see the circle of Jeeps. The park ranger will monitor locations where there are a number of Jeeps, because the rules are that only 5 can be close at a time for 10 minutes, and then you have to move back and let somebody else come close. So they kind of keep the Jeeps moving around. And the poor little boys, it was a long day. They were tired. The vervet monkey and baboons. Big old crocodile did not move at all. And then these ugly guys, the marabou stork. It's weird how they bend their knees backwards. And then I need to look at my notes. On the left is the long-crested eagle. And then there's the helmeted guinea fowl. On the left, the black-bellied bustard. And on the right, a crowned lapwing. A gray heron and the emu. Gray-headed buffalo bird. And a long-tailed blue starling. They were stunning. And a purple granadia, and a yellow cardinal. Great-tailed grackles, and this just amazing little colorful thing called a lilac-breasted roller. And it's like it was posing. It stayed there for a long time. Beautiful little thing. And then there was a flock of these superb starling. And on the right is a sooty chat. Those are the birds we saw in the Mara. And then we got to the hippo pool. And this is where we saw the action.
There are so many hippos there, it's astonishing. Like when we were in the hot air balloon, we went over, the river, and there's just pods of them everywhere, and they grouped together. So we had stopped for lunch. I think we had stopped for lunch, and we got out. We were up high because they're very dangerous. You don't want to get close to them at all. And then we got to see a little action.
So this is the dirty business. Male, at least what I've found online, it talks about males. Maybe females do it too, I don't know. But they have something called dung showering, and it's kind of like it sounds. They do it to mark their territory, to assert dominance, and they use it for courtship. They whip their tail around and spray it everywhere. Dirty, dirty beasts. And there was a very new mama who was exhibiting very protective behavior, aggressive protective behavior of her baby.
We were surprised at how small the little hippo was. As big as they are, you'd think the babies, but you'll be able to see it here in a minute. Really pretty tiny cub. I don't know what they're called. Hips. Is that it?
There it is, just poking its head up. But just wait. There we are. But Mama, she got wounded in her fight. And a giraffe getting a low snack. The sun getting low over the Mara. And that was the end of our safari. Now, at the very end, we did a few days out at the Indian Ocean in Mombasa at a resort, which felt kind of weird after spending, it felt wrong after spending, a week and a half with people that have like nothing. And then we go to a resort where there's like excess. Anyway, we took the train from Nairobi to Mombasa, which was a five-hour ride. And we got first-class train tickets. So we were expecting first-class service. Mel was like, oh, they'll have Wi-Fi on board, and I don't know. I thought there'd be velvet seats and who knows, whatever, it'd be beautiful. It was not. We had upholstered seats, which I understand the other trains that are not first class, you're in a hard seat. But anyway, it's like a kind of a little bit bigger than a bus, but no different.
And it was fun to count. The boys were counting how many security checks we had to go through to get on the train. How many? 10?
They said 10.
It was like every few feet we were stopped again to show our ticket or our ID, or it was just
They
hilarious.
scan your luggage. They want to see your tickets, and they scan you.
They had
It's
dogs, sniffing dogs, drug sniffing dogs. It was just like the security was, in fact, everywhere we went, the security was really,
That's
really
right.
tight.
We had to, when we got into the terminal area, after a couple of security stops, men and women were separated. There was this big Quonset hut with a low platform going down the middle of it. Women went to one side, men to the other. You put all of your luggage, all your bags on the platform, and then you step back behind a line, and then the drug-sniffing dogs with the soldiers came up and down, checked out your bags, and then people would move forward, pick up your bags, then it had to go through an x-ray machine. It just went on and on. It was crazy.
needless to say, we didn't take the train back.
No.
We decided to fly back because it was quite inexpensive and an hour as opposed to 5 hours.
So just a view of the ocean. We saw some critters there, the urchin, and this is a brittle starfish, which kind of makes a cool bracelet. And that is Sudan plated lizard on the left, and a male rock-headed rock agama. Oh, it's supposed to be red-headed, sorry. It is red-headed rock agama. And we went snorkeling and saw this. I was sure it was not real. I thought somebody had dropped some kind of a toy in the water, but there was nothing else like it around. But this is in fact real. It is a red knobbed starfish, and you can see it suctioned onto April's finger there. And a couple of us took some camel rides on the beach. And that is the end. So what did it mean to you, Mel?
Yeah, I mean, it was such an amazing experience, and there was so much to absorb. It's taken me this bit of time to sort of sort through my feelings and memories about it. I was quite reticent to go because it's so far away, and you just don't know, what you're going to run into. But
And you had never been to like a third world country before?
No.
Other than Mexico.
Mexico? I don't know. So I can really see why people want to go back and do more mission trips, because it's almost hard to describe. You just feel so valuable, and the people are so beautiful and lovely, and you just feel like fully alive. I think that's it. And you're helping, you're experiencing new things, and you're understanding God a little bit better by meeting some of his other children on the other side of the world.
Yeah. The people really were beautiful, like inside and out. It was great. I mean, because they do speak English, you can communicate with them, and they're happy people, and the kids are fun and cute, and yeah, it was. I found it. I've been on other mission trips. I've been to a building mission trip, which was awesome, but that's not my skill. I work in a hospital, so to me this was special because I was able to use my work skills. I actually assisted April, in the surgeries. So that was very rewarding for me.
And just to say, for next November, aren't they planning to have full-on, I don't know what to even call them, they need an anesthesiologist, and there's the need for, abdominal surgeries and things, but they just need to have an anesthesiologist and whatever equipment.
This is kind of in its infancy. This is the second mission trip that April has done under her own nonprofit, but she wants to grow it and do more, bigger, better things. And I hope that some people will be tempted to come because, we want to go back.
And if you're interested in, April and Brian organized everything from the moment we landed in Nairobi. They didn't take care of the 3 days on the coast, but everything else for the trip fee, all the local transportation, accommodations, and food, that was all taken care of. They organized and arranged all that. So that was kind of nice because I didn't have to
April
worry
is
about it.
super organized, very. Does anybody have any questions? We'll entertain some. Yes?
Did you find any connection to a better world in Kenya?
No. I know I read about them in the Messenger all the time. I think they're in a different area. We did drive by a lot of church schools and churches. So there's a great Christian influence in Kenya from lots of churches. Somebody way at the back. Yeah. Did you have a question? Grass. Did you see them eating it in that video? No. They reach down with their trunk, they wrap it.
I only see them go like this.
Isn't it amazing that they're vegetarian, all they eat is grass and leaves, and they're so big?
No. Anything else? Yes, they are wild.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out on this cold night. I really appreciate you coming out and letting us share our experience.
And I want to thank you. That was amazing and brought back so many memories. I did want to make a comment. You talked about the roads when you got there. When I went to Africa in 1973, I went with Jack and Deanne Hain. He's a doctor, and we went to the same mission station in Lesotho. Well, when he was a little boy of 6 years of age, his family went to Kenya as missionaries. His father was a doctor. Some of you may know Gus and Olive Hain. Well, they went there, and they were not there very long when Dr. Hain got polio. And they had to rush him back to Nairobi over those bumpy roads. And while they were on the bumpy roads, he could still breathe. But when they got to the paved road, he was having a hard time. And so when they got to Nairobi, there was a United States Air Force plane there with an iron lung. This is back in the 50s, an iron lung that flew him back to the States. And then he did survive. However, he had to change his occupation completely. He became a dermatologist, still a doctor, but a dermatologist, which he could work from a wheelchair because he was paralyzed from the waist down. So sometimes those bumpy roads are useful. Okay, next week we'll have a slightly different type of Vespers, but you're not going to want to miss it because it is the story of Job told by a reader's theater. And so we really encourage you to come and enjoy that type of Vespers. Shall we pray? We thank you, Father, for all the amazing things in this world. We thank you for the opportunity of going to some of these places, so it gives us a better appreciation of where we live. We are truly, truly blessed. And compared to many people, we are very rich. And so we thank you that with your help, we can share some of the things that we are blessed with to help others. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.